Hello, we're going to do a revenue maximization problem for a monopoly. A city-owned museum faces a daily inverse demand given by the following. The museum visitors spend on average $2 a day at nearby restaurants. So there's a spillover effect that happens when people visit the museum. If the city wants to maximize a museum's total revenue and economic impact, what price should it charge for the museum? So in this example, the city wants to take into account the revenue from the museum and the revenue from this spillover effect, this additional spending that happens on restaurants. So total revenue is museum revenue plus the spillover restaurant revenue. So total revenue is the inverse demand times the quantity of museum tickets plus the $2 spillover effect multiplied by the number of museum tickets. Substituting in for the inverse demand for the museum, put in 10 minus Q over 800. That's all multiplied by Q. We'll simplify this up by multiplying Q through by what's in parentheses. So total revenue equals 10Q minus Q squared over 800 plus 2Q. We want to maximize total revenue. We'll take the derivative of total revenue with respect to quantity. Derivative of 10Q is 10. Derivative of this middle term here, going to bring down the 2, so we'll get 2Q over 800. And the derivative of this last term is just 2. Because we're maximizing, we're setting this derivative or slope equal to 0. And now we're going to solve for Q. 10 plus 2 is 12. 2 divided by 800 is just 1 over 400. So the number of museum tickets would be 4,800. Plugging that 4,800 into the inverse demand, the ticket price for the museum would be $4. Without the spillover revenue, ignoring the additional $2 spent on nearby restaurants, this would be just maximizing the total revenue for the museum. Total revenue would look like this for just the museum. Taking the derivative, setting that result equal to 0. The museum would sell fewer tickets, but at a higher price. This also coincides with the midpoint of the demand curve for the museum, and at the midpoint of the demand curve, the elasticity of demand is -1. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful.